This is Mr. D. Crescenzi, Double D. It was good seeing you all yesterday at our live session. What I want to provide to you today is what I mentioned at the end yesterday regarding our new unit of study, the New Imperialism 1800 through 1914. In particular, looking at India during this time. I mentioned to you that India is a quite large area. When you look on the map, it's a subcontinent. It encompasses several areas. At this time, we're just looking at India itself, and what we see is the arrival of the British in India in the 1800s, and a rebellion, mutiny, or war for independence that takes place involving the people of India and the British. So I mentioned this yesterday to you in the classroom. I asked you to make a copy of this Google Slides presentation and to place it in your folder in Drive. It involves what it is being referred to here, at least in this slide, the Sepoy Rebellion in between the years 1857-1858, also known as the Sepoy Mutiny or the First War of Indian Independence from the British. Again, geography here, you could see how large India is. It's a subcontinent. In the year 1765, though, I want to point this out to you. The British, for the most part, were on the fringes of the Indian subcontinent. If you look at the Bay of Bengal here, they're in the light-colored pink. In the area of Bengal, you have the Maratha territory in the middle. And as we go farther up, eventually the Himalayas mountains, into China, into Afghanistan, Kashmir, which is a territory that is disputed today between India and Pakistan. So by 1765, the British at least were on the fringes of the Indian subcontinent where they had certain trading posts. The French also had trading posts in India at this time as well. But if we look at this other map in the year 1805, you're seeing that the British are starting to move into the interior of the Indian subcontinent where they're starting to take over more territory and more land. So this, I like to talk about this slide when I discuss this event regarding India and the British, because you start to see a change in territory, British colonial India between 1765 and 1805, about a 40-year time period. Now, what you had at this time as well is you had an empire known as the Mughal Empire or the Mughal Empire. They were followers of Islam, but what is important to point out as well is that they ruled people that the majority of the followers in India at the time were Hindu. Rulers of the Mughal Empire were followers of Islam. You had the building of the Taj Mahal during their time. And you can see that there's an image here of the Mughal Empire, Aurangzeb, and his royal hunting party, right? So that's just an image regarding this Mughal emperor. Now, how are the British going to involve themselves? What they're going to do is more along the lines of economics. The British East India Company is going to set up, and it's, again, I mentioned these trading posts. And they're going to have officials there, and the British East India Company is going to have a tremendous amount of power. Almost they're going to be a quasi-government of the British Empire in India, where they're actually going to be able to raise their own army in addition to conducting certain economic activities. And again, you can see by this image here, the Indian East India Company military officer and his Indian assistant, 1770. And notice the time, 1770. Think about the American Revolution that takes place in the United States, 1776. the Boston Tea Party. Where did that tea come from? Well, the tea came from India. It came from the British East India Company. Now, again, going back to a sense of geography, what we have here in a 20-year span is we have, again, the British 1837 starting to acquire much more land in the Indian subcontinent. They're on the western side of it. And by 1857, by the time of this event that we're going to discuss a little bit more in a moment, the British are well established in both the east, the west, the south, as well as in the north. And again, they did this by fighting the ruling empire, making alliances with other groups, other kingdoms that were not necessarily in line with the Mughal or the Mughal Empire in India. And what the British East India Company does in having their ability to raise an army is that they recruit soldiers, and they become known as sepoys. Sepoys are Indian soldiers. What is interesting about this is that these sepoy soldiers were from both the Hindu faith as well as Islam. And what is going to happen, and which we're going to talk about, is there's going to be a rebellion with them in 1857. Mutineers at Lucknow, July 30th, 1857. There's a lot of reasons why this rebellion, this mutiny, this first war of Indian independence took place. Some of it has to do with the rifle that the British introduced, the Lee Enfield. Other perspectives have to do with the introduction of Christianity. Again, there's a couple of perspectives on why this event took place. And you could see by this slide here that by 1857 and into 1858, the rebellion spreads all over the Indian subcontinent. And eventually, people who are British or living in India are affected. Some people lose their lives. There's injustices that are committed on both sides. This is a cartoon from Punch magazine, September of 1871, with the word justice at the bottom. Now, what we're going to be discussing on Tuesday during our live session is this one question. What caused the Sepoy Rebellion? Why did this event happen? And what I'm going to be sharing with you on Tuesday are 3 documents in answering this question. As you can see here, the first one, Document A, Gardner's English History. He was an English historian, professor at King's College in London. He wrote several books on English history. This is his view, at least, on what caused this event. You also have another view, Document B, Sir Colin Campbell, who is going to take charge of British forces during this uprising. He's going to discuss the Hindu sepoys, about how they included members from different castes. A sizable number of them were Brahmins, the highest caste in the Hindu religion. So he's going to offer his view on why this event happened. And the last one, Document C, is Sita Ram. He was a sepoy who remained loyal to the British. And you can see he had some doubts about them. And again, we will go over on Tuesday what his view was regarding the start of this rebellion, this mutiny, or this first war of Indian independence. So I would like for you, in thinking about this for Tuesday's class, we will go over it. I will be giving some questions in the classroom, or one question for you to answer and to submit. So please keep that in mind. What I sent you today is a homework assignment regarding British rule in India. And what I'm asking for you to do is for you to read this PDF. Questions are coming from two areas, one being British colonial rule, and the other set of questions mainly are coming from Indian nationalists. And this is where we get into the idea of India wanting its independence from Great Britain. That does occur after World War II, where you have the nation of India that is formed, as well as the nation of Pakistan. So there's information in here about the roots of that, and you can see there's Gandhi, who is mentioned at the bottom, who went to England, trained as a lawyer, went to South Africa to fight against, as I mentioned, the system of apartheid, setting people apart. But eventually, what's going to happen with Gandhi is he's going to find his way back to India, and he's going to be instrumental in fighting for India receiving its independence from Great Britain. In the interim, until we meet again, if you have any questions on what I just discussed regarding the Sepoy Rebellion, Mutiny, or the First War of Indian Independence, or the homework assignment, please feel free to reach out to me. I have office hours this Friday. I'm more than willing to answer your questions. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.